Viewers, our next guest has wrestled everything from crocodiles to the tax office, and he's giving us all the juicy details in his new book, which he says is the story of his life without the boring bits. But Hoag's life has never been boring. OK, I think we're about to go.
That way.
It's a real pleasure to be chatting with you, mate.
Thanks, Peter. Good to see you.
The Paul Hogan special.
We've tried to put together a show for you tonight that has the pace, excitement and glamour of the ABC weather forecast.
Paul Hogan is a national bloody treasure.
Come and say g'day. I'll slip an extra shrimp on the barbie for you.
Wearing his stubbies and that cheeky grin.
Good evening, viewers.
Hoag's first hit our screens in the 70s, true bluing his way into Aussie hearts and then the world's.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Raking in over $300 million at the box office, Crocodile Dundee was the most successful independent film of all time, scoring this knockabout bloke from the western suburbs of Sydney a Golden Globe and an Oscar nom.
One word. Hoax.
With a bunch of success and some scandal under his belt, Hoax has now finally put his extraordinary life on paper. Hoax, congrats on the book. It's a fantastic read. In the book, you give a lot of credit for your career to your great mate John Cornell, who you say, if it wasn't for him, you might still be on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. How so?
Oh, totally. He knew what to do with me. He just totally steered me through it. I saw the potential, more potential than I ever did.
I used to adore the Paul Hogan show. It was just so great to see Australian comedy on screen. And looking back, it seems like it was almost like the Wild West.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't know what I was doing.
From cluelessness came magic in the form of characters like Leo Wanker.
Right, guys. Just a ball.
Everybody loved Leo Wanker because he was such a wanker. And all those characters that I did on the Hogan show were based on composites of people that I knew or met.
There is an obsession at the moment with people going back into the archives and finding things that people have done or said that may be offensive by today's standards. How are you viewing cancel culture at the moment? Yeah,
it's understandable, but in some cases stupid. And it depends on, in the case of me and the shows I did, it was never designed to hurt anybody. And it was to say the biggest thing that I got thrown at me was a bit of a sexist because I had all these very beautiful and very scantily clad women on the thing. But that's what me and my lot wanted to see. And I never put them down. I was putting down the lengths that buffheads like me would go to try and attract their attention. The butt of the joke was always the sort of me or the guys. So if it was sexist towards men, I apologise for that.
Michael J. Crocodile Dundee.
Let's talk Crocodile Dundee. It's hard for me to explain to my kids just how big this movie was. I remember seeing it a couple of times at the cinema. It was like every family just seemed to go along to see Crocodile Dundee. When you were making it, did you have an inkling that you're onto something pretty special?
I thought it would work in Australia, and I thought it had probably a chance in New York because it was shot there. Had no idea that the movie would be number one in Senegal and number one in Israel and Lebanon and Sweden, and it went number one all around the world. It was the most successful independent movie ever made. Still holds that record. And so it's on television here a couple of times every year, which is nice because I get a few bob out of that. But
1987 was a ripper year for Hoax, nominated for an Oscar and then asked to host the whole shebang.
Mr. Paul Hogan.
And he didn't disappoint.
Well, I travelled 13,000 miles to be here for this. And if they read out someone else's name instead of mine, it's not going to be pretty.
Even though they did read out someone else's name,
And the winner is
he did go on to bag a Golden Globe.
Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee.
it was a mistake. There was no acting involved. And I got this Golden Globe as Best Actor. And I thought, that's pretty insulting to the other actors.
I do love the story of Clint Eastwood approaching you. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, he came over and picked up my butter knife at one stage, sort of waved it at me he's going to do the line. That's not a knife. He just waved it at me and he said, how many times have you heard it? And I said, oh, no, a couple 100,000. And he said, yeah, well, welcome to the club.
One story I've heard over the years is that you were offered the Patrick Swayze role in Ghost. Is that true? And two, why didn't you do it?
Yeah, it was true. I didn't think it was funny.
So the world missed out on Paul Hogan's steamy pottery scene with Demi Moore.
Yeah. I passed on a lot of movies. From 86 through to about 90, I got every third script that come along. I was a hot commodity then. But most of them weren't funny.
You are in the States. Do you have any ambitions or any hope or any wishes to come back and live here in Australia?
Yeah, it's more than hopes and wishes. It's pleading. Please let me come back. I still have one child I'm responsible for, and it's sort of so I'm staying here with him until he says, I'm okay, you can go, and then I'm back. I wish I was there now. I'm sort of over here like I'm a hermit in a sort of disease-ridden county.
You paint a lovely picture of life in America. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you, mate. The book it's a great read. It's a really fun read, and congratulations. And we hope to see you back in Oz sometime soon.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you in person again, Peter.
What a great chat.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a legend. He's an absolute icon. Paul Hogan show meant so much to me. You know,
I've never watched this.
Well, you're probably a fraction too young.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of the two Ronnies and a lot of English comedy, American sitcoms, but to see an Aussie voice on screen, you know, with John Cornell as Strop and Delvine Delaney was just like, he just wow, we can do comedy, you know.
Is that where Delvine Delaney came from? I thought she was just the Sale of the Century.
No, she was the Paul Hogan show as well.
Imagine him in The Ghost.
No,
that would have just been so weird.
I know. But Paul Hogan's new book, the Tap Dancing Knife Thrower, it's a great read and it's available from tomorrow. Get onto it.
All right, I will get onto it. Thanks very much for the advice. That is our show for tonight. Thank you very much, Rachel. Always good to have you. We'll see you next week. Stick around. The Bachelorette is on now. We'll be back at 6:30 tomorrow night. Have a good night. See you then.